MCQ 19, we're going to take a look at acid, base, and oxides reaction. The following reactant of sulfuric acid was given to us. So just as an acid, there will be three components that you should have a reaction with: acid plus metal, acid plus alkali or bases, and lastly acid plus carbonate. So each of them has their own exception. Metals itself, generally we should not be looking at any reactions with the cat metals that was taught in the class. So these four metals, copper, silver, gold and platinum, are considered to be unreactive. There is generally no reaction with it. Alright, alkali, base and carbonate, they are generally fine by themselves. There should not be any form of an exception. So if we go a little bit more from there, all of these three reactions, alright, they do have a lot of different reactants that are being produced, but a common product that is actually being produced is actually going to be the presence of a salt. Now the salt that is produced itself, if you take a look at the state symbol, if it's aqueous, things are all fine, alright, we should not be worried. But if the state symbol over here actually appears to be insoluble, now things are going to be a little bit of an issue, because if it's insoluble, if my original reactant was actually a solid, so I'm looking at things like carbonate, it could be a solid carbonate, it could be a solid metal. So if the start it was a solid, the insoluble salt will actually coat over the solid reactants at the start. So because of this coating effect, I would then say that any acid that is trying to react with the leftover reactant will have a little bit of a difficulty reacting, because this tough, insoluble, protective layer of salt, it will lead to what we call as prevention of further reaction. So this could have been a little bit of an overextension of what this question actually wanted, but will be useful if we're talking about the yield of salt in terms of the method we're going to choose to produce salts. Anyway, back to here, for copper, technically it's a metal, but we're not going to see any reaction because copper is considered to be unreactive. Magnesium is fine, it's considered to be moderately reactive. Zinc oxide is considered to be fine because it's an amphoteric oxide that's capable of reacting with both your acids and your alkali. And sodium carbonate is going to be okay, it's just in the category of a carbonate itself. Right, so with that, we should be looking at a tick when it comes for zinc oxide, a tick when it comes for sodium carbonate, as well as a tick when it comes for magnesium. But the question here throws another further requirement whereby we're looking at the production of gases. So with gas evolution, only metals as well as carbonate can produce gases. Metal will be producing hydrogen gas and carbonate will be producing carbon dioxide. So with magnesium, we should be looking at a gas because this is a viable reaction. There should be a gas that's being produced. With zinc oxide, it's actually a base. Alright, so even though it's a viable reaction, it only produces water. With carbonate, it should be producing carbon dioxide. So the answers that align with all the requirements of the question here is going to be option C.